What's going on, everybody? On YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Steve here, Rake and Profit over at rakeandprofit.com, coming back to you with another live video. And in this video, I want to reveal my top 5 reselling niches for beginners. So if you're just getting started reselling, maybe you've been watching a bunch of Rake and Profit videos, or whoever is making videos in the community right now that you're watching, and you're getting inspired, you're getting excited, you want to get started, but you're trying to figure out, where should I start? What category should I start reselling? Well, let me tell you, I've been reselling for over 6 years now, and I've got a ton of reseller friends, a lot of people that I've taught, friends, family members, including my mother, some of my best friends, hundreds and thousands of people on YouTube, and I've gone through all the different niches. Now, I'm not an expert in all of them, but I've kind of seen what works best for most people, for beginners, what people struggle with, what are some of the more challenging niches. But these top 5 are pretty easy to get started with, and definitely 5 niches that I would recommend getting started with if you're looking to jump into eBay or Amazon. So I want to shout out everyone in the comments. We got Derek in the house. What's going on? Wishing me a positive day, health and wealth. Thank you so much. Been having a great day so far. Been reading my positive affirmations. Just had a nice lemon water, a keto coffee. I'm actually in the parking lot of the gym right now. So just having an amazing day so far and want to bring you guys some value. What's going on, Kimberly? Great to have you here. Falling into Space. Love that name. What's up? Hey, Scott. How you doing? Solid Sales says RA, which is retail arbitrage, is doing good for me now. So let me know in the comments where you're from, and let me know, where are you selling right now? Maybe what's your favorite niche? So maybe you're selling on eBay and you're selling antiques, which I actually wouldn't recommend for beginners. That's actually not one of my top 5 to get started with. Still a great niche. What's up, Chevy? Good to see you, Brett. Great to have everyone here. We got Utah in the house. So let's dive right into this video, and I'll be sure to shout people out as well and answer some questions afterwards. What's up, Zach? DJ Mike, good to see you. So this list of 5 is in no particular order, but let's start to break down my top 5 niches that I've seen the most people have success with, the lowest failure rate, and probably the easiest to get started with. So number 1, this is actually going to be a niche for Amazon sellers. So if you're looking to get started with Amazon, I would definitely recommend this niche. You can still sell these on eBay, but it's not going to sell as well or for as much money, and that is books. Books are a great item to get started with. Number 1, they're all over the place. They're easy to find. Walk into any thrift store, books, books, books. There's tons of church sales, library sales. Books are abundant. Books are very easy to ship. They're cheap to ship. They're easy to store. When you ship them, they don't break, they don't get damaged. The margins are typically very high. You can purchase them very inexpensively for 50 cents, $1, $2. And that's actually how I got my mother started reselling. I helped my mother, AKA Mama Profit, who you can check out on Instagram. She's been on my YouTube channel tons of times. She got started over 5 or 6 years ago, and she didn't know anything about computers, reselling. I mean, she didn't even know how to click the right side of the mouse on a computer. I mean, it was bad. She was very technically, I don't know the best word to say, but she had no idea what she was doing. And I got her started, and now it's been over 5 years. She makes a couple $1,000s a month. And if it wasn't for books, she would probably be struggling to get by right now. She would have needed my support or someone else's support to help her, because Social Security is like $800 a month. So she's been able to supplement her retirement with flipping books on Amazon. She uses the Amazon seller app, Scout IQ, and she sends them into the FBA warehouse. They pick it, package, ship it, and then she receives a check. So books are great. Thrift stores, garage sales, flea markets, consignment shops. She uses eFlip now, so she's actually doing some OA, online arbitrage, buying from Amazon merchants and flipping it through the FBA program. Lots of great opportunities, but definitely starting off at thrift stores is a great way to find books and to get started. So that's the number 1 niche right there. Again, no particular order. Number 2, if you're selling on eBay and you're looking to get started, my favorite niche, it's not necessarily the easiest niche, like in terms of like being a passive income. Like selling books is a lot more passive than this. You're gonna have to, get dirty and put in the work. But clothing, I love selling clothing, and that's actually how I got started. Well, it was kind of like my second way. My first one was bikes, but bikes are I don't know, they're not as easy anymore, and it takes, I don't know, I don't feel like there's as much opportunity with bikes as clothing. But clothing's my niche number 2. After my bike hustle and I needed to move into something that was more consistent, I sold men's clothing on eBay, and I had scaled up to about 1,000 listings. Was selling anywhere between $5,000 to $8,000 a month, making around anywhere between like $3,000 to $5,000 profit per month. It is a lot of work, but there's tons of clothing. Again, there's an abundance of clothing at thrift stores. You could go to Savers, Goodwill. A lot of times they run 50% off sales, or over here, our Goodwill has a color that changes every week, and you can get great deals on clothing. Yeah, like Zach says, clothing is easily sourced. There's a ton of clothing out there. The downside is clothing has really increased in price in my area. I'm in Connecticut. I mean, I used to be able to pick up clothing for $2, $3, $4, and now they want $5, $6, $7, $8, $9. So you do need to be a little more picky with your clothing now. The opportunity is definitely still there, and there's tons of clothing that sells for 40, 50, 60, 70 bucks, but you really need to make sure that you study and research and put your best foot forward before getting started. I have a bunch of resources. If you check the links in the description, I've actually got a bunch of guides on 101 top men's clothing brands, 102 blazers, sport coats, and suits. I have a guide on that, so definitely check those out if you're looking to get started, or just make sure to spend a lot of time in the eBay sold listings learning what to buy. But a big mistake people make when they get started with clothing is they buy items for $5 or $6 and flip them for 12 or 13. There's just not enough money there, and you got to make sure you're flipping your clothing for 25, 30, 35. I'd rather sell less clothing for more money versus more clothing for less profit. There's just a lot that goes into it, but definitely a big opportunity. Easy to ship, easy to source, relatively inexpensive, although the prices are getting a little more expensive. Most people don't find value in clothing, so they avoid it. At the thrift store, people will be going after other niches over clothing, so there's definitely a good opportunity there. Number 3, this is an amazing niche to get started with as a reseller, and that's games. All types of games, from puzzles to board games to video games. Games are an amazing niche to get started with. Now, just realize when it comes to games, they're very nostalgic. People love games. There's collectors out there. It's becoming harder and harder to find games at thrift stores, but amazing opportunities at garage sales, flea markets, OfferUp, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, all types of games, like Super Nintendo, old PlayStation games, PS2 games, GameCube games, so many opportunities with video games. But especially if you're selling on Amazon, never pass up the board games and puzzle section at a thrift store. I always go in there and find 1 or 2 games. Sometimes I don't, but many times I'm finding 40, 50, 80, 90, $100 games. Actually, matter of fact, a couple days ago, I got a message from my mother who sells books on Amazon, but she also sells board games, video games, anything new in the package, and she found 2 $99 board games. They were actually different, but they were selling within the 90s. Good ranks, they were like 500, 700,000 rank, which means they sell probably 5 or 6 times a month. But definitely amazing profits in board games, video games, just the game category in general. So that's an excellent niche to stay in tune with. Number 4, and another amazing niche. This is somewhat in the clothing niche, but it's outside of it. Shoes. Women's shoes, men's shoes, athletic shoes, dress shoes. Shoes are a great category to get started with. Now, you're typically going to spend a little bit more money than books and clothing in video games. You might be spending $10, $12, $13, $14 for a pair of shoes, but shoes often, if you find the right ones, Jordans, certain dress shoes, Beast Mode says, boom, shoes, shoes, and shoes. A lot of times you can sell these things for $50, $60, $70, $80. So your ASP, your average selling price, is going to be much higher. Shoes are, one of those things where if you get a really good pair of shoes in the store, they might want 100, 150, 200 bucks. So if you could source them for 12, flip them for 50 or 60, you're adding a lot of value to the market. You're giving people a great deal. And especially shipping shoes through USPS, they've got shoe boxes. You don't have to ship through USPS. You can use other carriers, or you could use a plain box and ship different methods and whatnot. I've actually got a full video on how to ship shoes if you look that up on YouTube. But shoes are awesome. I actually have a guide on that as well that I teamed up with my good friend Tino. And Tino, a couple of years ago, he did over $200,000 in 1 year flipping shoes only from thrift stores. I think last year, 2 years ago, he did 200 or something like that. And I think last year did like over 300. So he's been crushing it. Tino, the Soul Advisor. He doesn't make a lot of videos anymore, but we teamed up and we created a guide on 101 killer women's shoes, 101 killer men's shoes. So check the links in the description below. Those guides are probably some of the most popular guides we've ever released, and it's probably made the most successful resellers out of any guides that we've ever launched in the past. So definitely check those out. About shoes, amazing niche to get into. And last but not least, toys, right? Toys are a fabulous niche to get started with. There's all types of toys that you can get started with, especially from garage sales. A lot of times you can just go up and buy boxes, right? Last year I went to a garage sale and there was a humongous box of Ninja Turtle action figures, and that box was probably worth a couple $100. I've been shooting a lot of videos with my good friend Brandon Farr, Retro Junk, and he actually makes a full-time living flipping toys, and we've been shooting a lot of videos. What he does is he puts out wanted ads on the Facebook Marketplace, and he actually has people calling them who are cleaning out their house, wanting to get rid of toys. And just recently he had found a toy haul that I think he paid $100 for, which was worth over $2,000. He's flipped trains for a couple $1,000s. He flips all types of stuff. My good friend Vinny, he lives in my local area. He makes a full-time income flipping toys, and we actually released a guide as well called Toy Brand Profit. So that's one of the goals of this YouTube channel, is to help you guys learn what to source, what categories to get started with. So if you guys, you know, want to learn this stuff, check the links in the description or spend time in the sold listings, right? You can learn this stuff for free. It's just going to take you more time. Go to the sold listings, go to a various categories such as toys or books or board games or shoes or whatever, and just go to the sold listings and start to study. There's so many items out there that you could buy and flip. It's not even funny. My Instagram is jam-packed with knowledge. Every single day we're posting new categories and new items that you should be on the lookout for. So check me out on Instagram at Rake and Profit. Tons of free information. What's up, Ryan? Good to see you. So those are my top 5 niches: books, clothing, games, shoes, and toys. Now there's a lot of other niches you can get started with as well, but I just don't see the success rate as high as these 5 niches. There's obviously antiques, there is electronics, there's motor parts, there's cell phones, there's all different types of things you can get started with, but these are the top 5 niches that I've seen people have the most success with. Good to see you. We got Joe Clay in the house with Merch University. So if you guys want to learn about selling t-shirts on Amazon, digital t-shirts through the Merch by Amazon program, check out Merch University. Brett says, good stuff. Ready to go hustle. Coffee mugs is another great niche as well. The problem is they sell pretty slow. They're fragile. They break easily. You've got to store them. You got to store everything else, but they're just a little, I don't know. They just don't sell as well as the other categories that I found. But of course, if you go find yourself like a state Starbucks mug, you can make big bucks, right? But the thing is, at first, I would dive into a niche and really learn it. Learn books, learn shoes, learn clothing, really become a master at a niche, because then you know more than 99% of most people that go into a store. Like, I was a master at clothing when I was full-time on eBay. Man, I was walking out with at least 3 or 4 or 5 things every single time. And I also had a little bit of knowledge with mugs and electronics and books and this and that. So when I couldn't find much with my master niche, which was clothing, I had other backups to rely on. But when you're first getting started, become a master at something, whether that's shoes, whether that's games, right? Jesse with thrift store, Texas thrift store, I'm blanking out, but you guys know who I'm talking about. He's a master at video games, right? He's a master at video games. So he's always going in and finding all these games that I never would have even known were valuable, right? So thrift school, I was getting mixed up with thrift store gold. Exactly. So if you guys enjoyed this video, do me a big favor and smash that like button down below. JMU is saying big money on printer ink. Yes, exactly. When first getting started, you can't be picky. Sell anything you can on Amazon to get your account going. Picky will come later. Yeah, when you're selling on Amazon, you definitely want to get, get your account up and running and get yourself ungated as much as you can and sell as much as you can. It's a lot harder nowadays to sell on Amazon. That's why, I talk a lot about eBay. I feel like most people can just get started selling on eBay, have some success, and then move in. Kimberly, appreciate you. Victor, thanks. Appreciate you guys, but I got to get rolling. I got to get into the gym right now, and I just want to wish you guys an amazing day. I appreciate it. Thanks, Brian, for watching. Thanks, everybody, for clicking on this video and watching, and have yourselves an amazing day. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.